In a world that too often punishes the innocent and rewards the guilty, one impetuous, angry, and youthful hero must learn how fury can wound deeper than any blade. Meet Sparrowhawk, a lonely, frustrated, yet resolute half-elven wanderer whose fierce instincts drive him to protect others, even as his unchecked rage threatens to undo everything he tries to save. And welcome, traveler, to the Tavern on the Morrow, where all come to gather at the threshold to adventure. Here you will find resources in the form of characters, settings, and adventure ideas that you can use in your Dungeons & Dragons or Daggerheart games as you see fit. I will present a series of traits on each topic that will help you create a rich storytelling experience for everyone in the group. These tools are accessible to gamers from all backgrounds, whether they are new to the world of tabletop role-playing or a grizzled veteran long in both tooth and tail. We go now to the stables of the tavern, where in the flickering lamplight a cloaked figure drags a brush gently across the dark coat of a dusky mare. Each stroke seems a silent act of penance as the muffled laughter beyond the walls clashes with the obvious weight hanging upon his shoulders. This is Sparrowhawk. Sparrowhawk's appearance and presence. Sparrowhawk cuts a lean, striking figure, his half-elven heritage written in the balance of his features, sharp enough to seem otherworldly, softened by a human's rough edges. His blonde hair is pale and sun-bleached, usually worn long and loosely tied, with a few strays always slipping free to fall across his eyes. In firelight, it gleams almost white, giving him an air of youth that clashes with the age bestowed by his elven heritage. He carries himself like someone perpetually on the verge of motion. Even at rest, his weight shifts subtly from heel to toe, fingers flexing as if remembering the pull of a bowstring or the hilt of a blade. His eyes, keen, restless, and quick to harden, rarely stay fixed on one thing for long, always tracking doors, hands, and shadows. When anger stirs, his jaw tightens and his shoulders square unconsciously, as though bracing for a blow that hasn't yet come. Tales of Sparrowhawk's past. 1. Why he left home. Sparrowhawk grew up in a quiet woodland hamlet, the son of an elven herbalist and a human caravan scout. They both loved him deeply, but held him too tightly. They taught him patience, restraint, and caution, lessons meant to keep him safe, but which felt, to him, like chains. Even as a boy, his temper flared fast, and every rule only sharpened his need to push beyond it. They never took him to the woods to seek herbs, and never asked him to join a caravan trip, even as his heart burned with wanderlust and desire for adventure. As he grew older, their concern became constant guidance, then warning, then expectation. Sparrowhawk began to feel less like a son and more like something being managed. One night, after another argument about the dangers of the road, he packed his few belongings, took a hawk feather from his mother's old teaching charm, and left before dawn. Not because he wasn't loved, but because he was loved too much. He tells himself he left to find his own path. Some nights he wonders if he was really running from them, or from the person they feared he might become. 2. Struggles of a young hero. Sparrowhawk's first heroic act happened less than a month after he left home. On a forest road, he stumbled onto a merchant wagon pinned by 3 would-be bandits. He should have waited, watched, counted the angles the way his parents taught him. But fear and fury made the choice for him. He loosed his first arrow too fast and missed the killing shot. He shattered a torch instead, plunging the road into chaos. Then he burst from the trees, shouting like he knew what he was doing. The fight was clumsy and loud and far from brave. A glancing cut to his arm, a wild swing of his blade, a bandit fleeing rather than falling. But the wagon rolled free, and the merchants lived. When they called him a hero, Sparrowhawk stood there bleeding and shaking, realizing for the first time that acting without permission could still change the world. Just enough to make him believe the road might be worth its cost. 3. The Ghosts of Brindle Ford. Sparrowhawk has blundered into failure as much as success. Sometimes in the quiet company of those he sees as friends, he will speak of the village of Brindle Ford. He promised those villagers safety before he understood the danger. Raiders had circled the farms for weeks, and Sparrowhawk, eager to prove himself, urged the villagers to stand their ground instead of fleeing across the river. He helped them set crude traps and took first watch. He was convinced that courage and preparation would suffice. When the attack came, it came from the water, not the road. The raiders struck in silence, their boats gliding through the fog, while Sparrowhawk watched the wrong horizon. He fought hard when the screams began, but by dawn 2 homes smoldered and an old man lay dead. Sparrowhawk left without waiting for blame or thanks, carrying with him the lesson that confidence can be as dangerous as fear, and that sometimes the bravest choice is knowing when you are not enough. 3 goals that drive Sparrowhawk. 1. Find the lost form that can calm his soul. Sparrowhawk seeks the Spire of Still Skies, a forgotten elven watchtower said to be built atop a sheer cliff, where constant mountain winds once trained border wardens powerful lessons in patience and perception. The magic was never written in spellbooks. It was carved into stone paths, chimes, and standing ruins. It is meant to be learned through movement, breath, and restraint, rather than force. 2. Outrun the shadow of his parents' expectations. Though he left to escape their careful control, Sparrowhawk is driven to prove, to himself more than to them, that his path was not a mistake, and that freedom can forge a hero just as surely as discipline. 3. Find a cause worth staying for. Every road teaches him something, but none have convinced him to stop. Sparrowhawk secretly hopes to find a place, or people, worth risking permanence, even though staying would mean facing the consequences for every failure he's left behind. Tips for how to play Sparrowhawk. 1. Lead with impulse, then regret. When a threat appears, have Sparrowhawk speak or act first, a sharp comment, a half step forward, a hand on his weapon, then visibly rein himself in. Even when he chooses restraint, make it clear it costs him something. 2. Let anger leak through your body language. Describe clenched jaws, tight grips on reins, restless pacing, or over-forceful actions, slamming doors, brushing his horse too hard. Sparrowhawk doesn't rant. His anger simmers and shows in how he does things. 3. Be bad at listening in the moment, good at reflection later. In conversations, interrupt or push back when challenged. Later, around a campfire or watch shift, have him quietly acknowledge he may have been wrong, often without apologizing directly. 4. Protect the vulnerable aggressively. Children, animals, prisoners, and frightened villagers trigger his protective instincts fast. He will argue with allies if he thinks they're being cruel or indifferent, and he'll never abandon someone who can't defend themselves. 5. Avoid long-term plans on purpose. Sparrowhawk dislikes talking about what comes next. He focuses on the immediate problem, deflecting questions about the future with action, sarcasm, or silence. This reinforces his wandering nature. And 6. Rituals to regain control. Give him a small habit he does when trying to regain control, touching the hawk feather, brushing his horse, practicing slow breathing. Use it consistently so the table recognizes when he's fighting himself. Dialogue for Sparrowhawk. He speaks little, and when he does, his words come fast and sharp, driven more by instinct than polish. He listens poorly when challenged, interrupting before a thought is finished, but in quiet moments he grows unexpectedly gentle, touching his horse with care, lowering his voice around the frightened or the wounded. His hands tell the truth of him better than his face. Scarred, nimble, and precise. Capable of violence, yet often choosing restraint only after visible effort. Sample dialogues for Sparrowhawk. 1. Confronting a threat. Anger barely contained. Sparrowhawk's hand rests too easily on his blade. Say another word like that and I stop pretending you're not already an enemy. 2. Protecting the innocent. Sparrowhawk steps between the trembling child and the crowd. You want someone to blame? Pick me. I can take it. They can't. 3. Arguing with an ally. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying if we wait any longer, people get hurt. I won't be standing still for that. 4. Quiet regret at the campfire or night watch. Sparrowhawk stares into flames, eyes distant. I thought being fast meant being right. Turns out it just means you live long enough to remember. Plot hooks for Sparrowhawk. 1. The Trial of Still Skies. A rumor reaches Sparrowhawk that the wind chimes of the Spire of Still Skies have begun to sing again, proof that the wind-bound magic he seeks can finally be learned. But the mountain pass leading to the spire is choked with refugees fleeing a tyrant lord who has sealed the valley and hunts any who try to escape. The only safe path to the chimes runs straight through the lord's patrol routes, and the refugees will never survive the crossing alone. Sparrowhawk could slip past the patrols, but would become the kind of selfish treasure hunter the chimes would never answer to. He seeks the aid of adventurers to help him in escorting and protecting the villagers, and then in turn to help him find the spire. 2. The village that won't let him leave. A border town Sparrowhawk saved refuses to let him go, spreading stories of the Hawk Hero and begging him to stay as their protector. When rival factions move in to exploit his presence, Sparrowhawk must decide whether to break free or prove he can remain without becoming the tyrant he fears. He calls on adventurers to assist in dealing with these rival factions. 3. The Wind That Lies. An elven relic surfaces that claims to grant mastery over emotion through wind magic, but it feeds on the suppressed anger rather than calming it. Sparrowhawk is uniquely compatible with the artifact, and the party must choose whether to help him wield it, destroy it, or risk letting his rage reshape him into something far more dangerous than his enemies. The Nameless Mare. Sparrowhawk's horse is a dark mare built for distance rather than beauty. Her coat nearly black in low light and marked by old, honest scars. A small white star rests on her brow, and her movements are steady and deliberate, hooves placed with the care of an animal that has learned survival the hard way. Where Sparrowhawk burns hot and fast, she is calm and unyielding. She does not spook at shouting or steal, and when his temper tightens the rein, she answers by slowing, grounding him in the moment. She has no name he speaks aloud, but she follows him not out of habit or fear, but quiet, enduring trust. Her eyes are what bind her to Sparrowhawk. They are dark, steady, and watchful, unafraid of blood or fire, but wary of sudden noise and foolish haste. Where Sparrowhawk burns hot and fast, she is patience incarnate. When his anger tightens the reins, she does not shy or bolt. Instead, she plants herself, breathing slow and heavy, forcing him to feel the moment before acting. We return now to the tavern stables. Sparrowhawk stands in the lamplit quiet, brush in hand, his mare shifting softly beneath his steady touch. He is eager to prove himself again, to test his blade, his resolve, and the temper he struggles to master. He is no savior yet, but he could be with the right guidance and mentorship. He's what happens when a restless heart seeks answers forever on the horizon, while the pain it truly must confront lingers in the wake of his passing.